Yo, what is going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Zero Spy back again once again, and today people, today we are here for Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger episode 6. That in this episode we basically get some backstory on Gita's life, basically where he came from and why he is a actual prince, if all this stuff is actually true, because this is Raculus, the one who is spilling this. So we see that everybody is back in the back in Shu Gundam. We see that we see that the people are happy and rejoicing that Gira is back home, and Gira is now, the prince. They're calling him Prince Gira, all that good stuff. So he gets break. So they end up going back to the main hall. Turns out the Bugnarok are on the attack again, and we see that Gira does try and attack Regulus. He tries to attack Regulus, but we see that he ends up getting held down. Stuff like that. He ends up getting captured, and then with every chance he gets, he tries to attack Raculus. But we see that the rest of the Rangers are also there with Raculus, discussing what they're about to do. So we see that the Bugnarok have basically sent out a message to all of the other kingdoms, telling them that, hey, we have put all these giant cocoons in your kingdoms, and what we're gonna do is the fact that if you don't give us all the world's treasures, then these cocoons are going to hatch, and they're gonna put off some giant Bugnarok monsters who are very, very powerful. And that little clip of how they looked was very menacing. So yeah, the Bugnarok ain't really messing around right now, and they want Terra. They want the Terra's treasures. So we did see that Raculus does tell Gira that, hey, when you were a kid, you were kidnapped, and we could not, and we searched high and low for you, but we never found you. So they decided to tell the rest of the kingdom that that you were pronounced dead. And yeah, so I'm not buying that though. I feel like maybe some of that's true. Maybe the kidnapping part is probably not true, but I feel like Raculus probably had a hand in the reason why young Gira went missing, but we'll get to that. But so we end up seeing that they the Bugnarok have put these cocoons in the other kingdoms, and they're trying to decide on what they need to do to them. They basically said that if you try to attack them, they will randomly explode. So the only other options you have is to give us the treasures of Terra. We did see that they already have the giant scorpion guy, so that's one. Like how Dr. Knox said in the last episode, that's one down. We see that they have also created like all these giant tunnels throughout the Bugnarok have created these giant tunnels throughout the rest of the other kingdoms to basically have these cocoons basically be end up coming out. So we see that after he tells Gira this, we see that Gira keeps trying to constantly attack him, so they end up putting Gira in chains, and they start to discuss what's their next plan of action on destroying these cocoons. They know that they can't destroy the cocoons because they'll randomly explode, basically like a nuclear bomb, and if they don't give them the treasures, then these cocoons will hatch and create very strong Bugnarok beasts. So while that's happening, we did see that Raculus ends up severing his alliance with the rest of the kingdoms. After we see that Rita has basically said that, yeah, we can't, we're under like a whole like alliance type thing going on. He ends up slashing the peace treaty in half with his sword, and he says that, hey, now you all will have to, now I'm leaving the alliance, and you all will have to bow to me, because King-Ohger is under my control. We did get a complete like CGI kind of shot of the entire castle, and you can basically see that this castle looks like it's able to transform into something. But we don't know yet, but we will find out later on in the episode. We did see that Gira is still doesn't believe anything that Raculus is even talking about. He doesn't, and even though Raculus is playing off the whole like I'm a good king act, we know that he really isn't. So we see that Gira ends up getting saved. Gira ends up getting saved by his I didn't see him having this before, but he ends up getting saved by this motorcycle that flies him out, and he escapes the castle. So we see that Reckless is trying to get the rest of the other Rangers to basically join him, because if they can't join him, we saw that earlier that when the Bugnarok start to attack, that these guys cannot morph. They cannot morph at all because now Reckless has the full on control of King-Ohger. Now that he is full, and the only way they're able to get their powers back is if they all basically said that we'd serve under you, and then none of them actually want to do that. But we see later on when after Gira ends up getting taken back to basically taken back outside of the kingdom. We did see earlier in the episode that Yanma is asking Gira, how are you able to control your shoe god? Like, because the thing about it is, if the Bugnarok get all the shoe gods, and they'll also be able to have the power of the other three guardian spirits. So you're able. So how are you able to activate your shoe god? Gira basically says that I just simply asked him to do it. He's my friend, and Yama's like, no, that's not how it works. So also the Bugnarok, while they want the treasures, they also want Gira. They also want the kingdom to turn over Gira, because Gira somehow has the power to talk to shoe gods. He has the power to talk to the great guardian spirits and also talk to shoe gods. So they feel like that'll be a very powerful asset to him as a prisoner. So they also want Gira. So we did see that while what was that? The attendant to Dark Nanak. He ends up basically attacking the city, sending off a bunch of the grunts, basically the Bugnarok grunts. He sends them off basically as they go off, starting attacking the kingdom. That's when we saw earlier when Gira ends up using his I guess. He called Kiwata. He called Kiwata, but like this flying motorcycle thing came in and grabbed him by his chains and actually flew him out of there. So he was able. So for some reason, Gira is also still able to transform, and the rest cannot. And we see that Gira ends up in a battle with a bunch of the grunts, but out of nowhere, we see that the other Rangers come in and they actually start attacking and fighting off the grunts as well. So that's a thing right there. That was a thing to say, hey, we'll get to that in a second, but that scene right there kind of really surprised me, because in the last scene they couldn't morph or do anything. Their swords wouldn't even make a sound. So how are they able to morph now? So we're gonna get to that. So after they ended up fighting off a bunch of these Bugnarok grunts, we see that he's able to talk to Kiwata, and one of the giant cocoons ends up breaking free. We see that Gira is asking Kiwata, like, hey, are you able to, do this by yourself and things like that. We did see that Kiwata does start fighting one of these giant cocoon Bugnarok things that just hatched. And since it just hatched, he's still fighting while Kiwata's fighting it. We said Kiwata's possibly having like a bad time. So basically what I think is that maybe did they bend the knee to him or things like that? Did they agree to this whole like new alliance thing that he's got going on? But now that we see that everybody's like basically fighting or whatever, we see that Kimino is very adamant on getting the scorpion basically the scorpion shoe god. The scorpion shoe god does actually makes a appearance in this episode as well. When he makes this appearance, he is able to team up with Gira. But while he's teaming up with Gira, we see that that makes Kimino kind of pissed off. She's very adamant in trying to get the scorpion shoe god. Which I'm like, why are you trying to get the scorpion shoe god? Because this thing, like, it's not even in your country. It's not even like part of your country. So why are you like trying to basically get it? So now that she's actually still like trying to get it, well, we end up seeing that the scorpion shit. We see that Miraculous is able to use his sword. His sword looks actually very different than theirs. His sword looks different there. His blade is golden and things like that. We see that it looks like he's actually about to transform, but yeah, he does end up summoning the other King-Ohger, which the other King-Ohger, which this King-Ohger looked kind of different. It had some different similarities, but we just see throughout in the episode we see that Gira is trying to stop all the destruction that's going on in the kingdom. He does end up using the Scorpion Shoe God, but then the Scorpion Shoe God does end up turning against him later. But we see that Raculus is starting to turn the people against Gira, and also even Gira is also somewhat turning the people against him too, from pointing a sword and stuff like that to the people after seeing Raculus be really fake to the rest of the kingdom. You know, and you know that Gita's not going for that. He doesn't believe anything that his so-called big brother is talking about. So when we see Gita is trying to take on trying to take on the big, you know, monster or whatever, we see that the Scorpion Shoe God, I think it will basically has been commanded, and it is trying, and he ends up spitting out Gira, and we see that Gira is getting captured again, and the episode basically ends off with the other cocoons around the freaking went in the other kingdoms. But yeah, man, this basically took a really big freaking turn. I know I'm all over the place, you know. I know I'm also late on this episode review because, you know, work has been really heavy and it's actually very late at night right now, so I'm trying to get this out of here. But Raculus basically has worked over the rest of the kingdom in his favor, and a lot of his plan is actually working when it comes down to being the one absolute, like, true king that he seems like he wants to be. Now that he essentially probably has control over the rest of the kingdoms, because they were able to morph before after he ended the alliance. They basically lost their powers, but the next scene, 1 to 2 scenes later, they're able to morph and stuff. So did they bend the knee to Raculus? Did they, you know, decide to let him be the number one king in charge? I don't think so, because Yanma ain't going for that, and a lot of others really ain't going for that either. We did see that, but Himeno being really interested in this Scorpion Shoe God. I don't know. I mean, it was playful at first, but this time she was actually very serious about the about getting it and things like that. So I'm wondering, does she have some type of history or some type of connection with this Scorpion Shoe God? You know, is there something there? Also, we did, and the brand new King-Ohger looks the fakey one, which I'm thinking is just Raculus's castle, probably ended up transforming into this thing. And yeah, so now he's completely fooled the people, and now a lot of the people in their actual kingdom hate Gira, especially that one guy, the hat guy with the broom. Yeah, that guy was going off. That guy was like true hate. But man, this episode was actually pretty good. This is a great episode, and also throwing some kind of curveballs, but also foreshadowing a lot of other things that are yet to come. And you see that the Bugnarok are actually starting to get really freaking serious now, and possibly also coming to the forefront. But my whole theory is that maybe Raculus is very crafty, he's very clever, and he has worked all of this stuff into his favor. And especially with one of his homeboys was missing, 2 guys that follows him around was missing. But I'm thinking that, well, you did see him in the episode, but later after that, he's actually pretty much missing for the rest of the episode. So maybe he's actually working in behind the scenes with the rest of the Bugnarok. I think Raculus is working with the Bugnarok to switch everything over into his favor, and most likely he'll probably try to take them over to really be the true ultimate evil king that he wants to be. But you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of this episode of Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger, and I will see you guys next time. And remember, stay henshined.